sort of in the middle of this scene. I didn't want to do chapter 1. I thought I would just start in the middle of this scene. That I actually had a lot of fun writing this particular scene, so I'm kind of fond of it. And I'm going to jump in, but I'm going to explain what happened before so you won't be completely lost, okay? So Dara Santos is an enchantment. She has met her grandmother. Her grandmother has told her. None of this is a spoiler, by the way, because you all know it's leading to this point. You are a seeker, and you're going to have to go through this brutal initiation, which you may or may not survive. She's basically like, I'm out of here. So she basically runs away from home. Enchantment is a place that is very hard to get in and out of, and the next bus isn't for like an hour. So she finds this basement bar called the Rabbit Hole, and she's sort of hiding out down there until the bus comes to whisk her out of this crazy place. And so now she's gone looking for her cell phone, and she's having these really scary hallucinations, which have plagued her since her 16th birthday, the same hallucinations that actually landed her in enchantment, because it turned out that the grandmother was the only one that understood and was able to help her. Only Dara didn't like the explanation for these hallucinations. So she's on the run. She's in the rabbit hole. She's trying to find her way out of there. And she's just escaped from this room where she's been having these hallucinations. She's running through this club, heading for the door. Okay. She's leaving the room. Get away from me, I mumble, my voice weak, whimpering, my body a trembling mess of nerves, assuring myself that what I saw was real, even though it's ridiculous, even though they do their best to pretend not to have noticed. Hey now, he reaches toward me again. That's no way to... I said, don't touch me. I grab hold of my bag, bolt for the door. The boy calling after me as I shove through crowds of people my age. People I might have befriended, have Paloma succeeded in keeping me here. Knocking into girls and bouncing off boys until one in particular catches me, steadies me, his fingers circling my arm as he peers down and says, "You okay?" I struggle against him. I'm totally upstaged. I cannot compete with this. You're adorable. It's so cute. Okay. I struggle against him, fight to break free, though it's not long before I'm overcome by a cool wash of calm, chased by a comforting warmth that folds like a blanket around me. My movements slowed, my thoughts becoming so hazy and loose I abandoned my flight, robbed of all recollection of why I wanted to leave when I do anything to feel so safe, so secure, so loved and at peace, so at home in his arms. I melt against his chest, lift my gaze to meet his, gasping when I stare into a pair of icy blue eyes, banded by brilliant flecks of gold that shine like kaleidoscopes, reflecting my image thousands of times. The boy from my dreams, the one who died in my arms, brothers, as the boy claimed they were. Not to worry, brother, it's the soul that I want, the heart is all yours. But I know it can't be, my mind is deceitful, I can no longer trust the things that it shows me. I break free, jolted by the sudden loss of warmth, the crushing chill that surrounds me the instant I sever his touch. I'm sorry, I thought you needed... He peers at me, gaze fraught with worry, head cocked in a way that causes his long, glossy black hair to spill down his side. But before he can finish, I'm gone. Racing across the room, I blow past the exit and make my way up a steep flight of stairs, convincing myself the boys aren't real, or at least not in the way that I think. The hallucinations and dreams are merging as one. I just need to get out of here. I just need to... I'm about halfway down the alley when I allow myself to stop beneath the only street lamp that's lit, where I sag against the wall and fight to catch my breath. My body bent forward, fingers clenching hard at my knees, as slick waves of hot, clammy sweat course under my clothes, thoroughly wetting me. I yank on my ponytail, pry it away from the place where it clings fast to my neck, and when I return my hand to my knee, my gaze is caught by the stamp I'd failed to notice till now, a red-ink coyote with glaring red eyes. This town holds secrets you can't even begin to imagine. It is full of coyotes, and Coyote is a trickster you must learn to outsmart. The memory of Paloma's words caused me to push away from the wall, fumble blindly toward the street. As the glowing ones surge toward me, their numbers increasing until they surround me. Having overpowered the herbs, they jump out of windows, leap from shadowed doorways as crows swoop down on my ankles and peck at my feet, squawking in outrage as I stumble right over them, turning them to clumps of bloodied feathers that cling to my shoes. Only a few yards of asphalt lying between the bus stop and me, one double-lane road, and I'm free. Free of the rabbit hole, this alleyway, this horrible town, the glowing people, the crows, and the boys with unearthly blue eyes. I can make it. I can do it. I have to. I've no choice. Never mind that my vision is narrowing, turning everything to bright shining spots that shimmer before me. Never mind that my legs are wobbly, knees no longer willing to carry me. I bang into the street, my arms outstretched, struggling to see through the glare, my lips moving in a silent please. Help me, please, just a few more steps and I'm there. The sound of tires squealing, voices shouting now crowding my head, leaving me blinded, swaying, darting around the shadows dancing before me. My vision filling with bright wavering circles of light as a sudden thrust of hot metal sends me flying, flailing, soaring high into the sky with arms spread wide, raven-like, until gravity hits and the asphalt roars up to catch me in a bed of razor-sharp rocks that slice through my clothes and embed in my flesh, jamming my nose with the stench of burnt rubber, charred skin. An image of the old black and white photo bearing my dad's smiling face, the last scene I see. His dark eyes narrowed in judgment, disappointed with me. I didn't listen to his warning. I was too focused on the gruesome state of his head back in that Moroccan square to listen to the words he tried to tell me. And now, because of my failing, I am like him, only worse. I failed to escape, failed to find a way out, and now, because of it, I will die in this town. A little Halloween.
Well, if anyone has a question for Alyson, please ask.
Do you already know what you're going to do after the Soulseeker series?
You know, this is the first time, generally by book 3, which I'm finishing now, or about halfway through the series, I should say, or tail end of the series, I should say. I already am planning the next series, and I've got my proposal ready to go, and, you know, I'm getting geared up for that. And I have written nonstop for the last 7 years. I'm writing my 20th book, and I have 5 ideas. And I actually right now love them all equally, and they're all really different. So I'm just going to finish the Soulseekers and take time off, which for me would be like 3 weeks, because I really don't know what I would do with myself after that. But just sort of explore which idea, do a little research into each, maybe, you know, write a few paragraphs here and there, and just sort of see which one screams the loudest. 2 of the ideas are for adult books, and 3 are for YA. And out of those 5, I think 3 are fantasy and 2 are contemporary. So they're quite different. And right now they all seem hugely appealing. The book you haven't written yet is always the most appealing. So, so we'll see. I'm not really sure. Yeah.
Dare and Ever are both very unusual names. Did it take you very long to make them up, or?
I've been collecting names for years. I collect them. So I have this file called the Unusual Names file. It's actually called that in my documents folder. And I had been wanting to use the name Ever for a really long time, but I just didn't have the character that, you know, really fit the name until I wrote The Immortals. The name Damon, I always like to tell this as an aside. My husband was born on Damon Avenue in Chicago. So that's where that came from. It was just a little ode to my husband. And Dare came to me later, actually. I think it was towards the end of Soulseekers. I can't remember where I came across it. Maybe I look at, you know, baby naming sites. I look at, like, you know, unusual ethnic name sites. I sit in movie theaters and watch the credits and make notes on, because you see great names in the credits. It's like everybody wants to be, you know, the leading man. So you see some really good names in the credits, and I read name tags when, you know, waitress or wherever I go, and I just sort of collect them. And so before I start a book, I go through that file and I pick names that'll suit the characters. And actually the names are really important, and I can always tell if a character has the wrong name, because I really struggle with writing them. And so I always sort of step back, and once I find the right name, then it sort of flows from there. So they're always sort of really specific and important. Dare is, I think, an Irish name, and she's half Irish, half Hispanic, and she's going to have to be very daring to succeed as a seeker, so it's kind of
There's always an extra layer of in the names.
Lately there is, yeah.
Any more questions?
Yeah.
Do you think you are ever going to write in the male's point of view?
Well, I do in Echo. Yeah. So, and I did it for a couple reasons. With the Immortals, I think the question I got asked the most, other than is it going to be a movie, was, you know, why don't you write this? You know, would you ever consider writing this in Damon's point of view? And I never considered it because to me it was Ever's story, and it was her destiny to lead Damon to their joint destiny. But I did try to sort of, you know, appease that by writing this little short story, which is available for free download on my website, about the first time Damon ever met Ever. And it was in France, you know, 400 years prior. It's just a little short piece that I did, and I had a lot of fun with it. I enjoyed it way more than I even thought I would. And so when it came time to write the Soulseekers, you always want to do something a little bit different and try maybe a little bit different structure here and there. And there was a point in Echo where it just really made sense to tell his point of view and let the reader know how he's perceiving the events and what he's thinking and what he's planning to do. And I loved writing this. I really enjoyed writing it. And so I continued that in Mystic and probably Horizon as well. So whether I write a full book in a male's point of view, one of my ideas is heavily male protagonist. So maybe, we'll see. But the girly voice comes the most easily. Definitely.
Would you like to be an immortal or a soul seeker?
I would not like to be, I am immortal, because the soul is immortal. So, you know, the soul is immortal, we're all immortal. I would not like to be physically immortal, because I am very bad at saying goodbye, and I think you say goodbye to a lot of people as they die around you, and you stay young and beautiful forever. That really doesn't look like fun to me. So, no, I wouldn't want to be immortal. I don't think I'm near brave enough to be a seeker like Dare. I put her through some incredibly treacherous moments that, you know, I would just say no thank you and back away from. But I would like the power of instant manifestation like they had in the Immortals. That is very appealing to me for many reasons. One, shoes. And two, you know, you could feed the hungry and house the homeless and do some really good stuff with that as well while you're wearing great shoes. So it serves two purposes. Yeah.
Who's your favorite writer, and which writer really inspires you to write your books?
I never do well at the favorite question because I'm indecisive, and my favorite is whoever I'm reading at that moment. But a writer that really inspired me, like as a teen, was J.D. Salinger. I'm a huge J.D. Salinger fan, and Catcher in the Rye, you know, really spoke to me. I told you I felt really alienated, and of course when you feel alienated, you're sure that no one else in the history of the world has ever felt alienated but you. And so reading Holden Caulfield's struggles with those same feelings made me feel like less of a freak. It made me realize, well, if this person named Salinger has written this book that seems to be very popular, then maybe other people feel this way too. And so just like, you know, Judy Blume's book did for me earlier, it made me realize how, you know, a fictional character could really connect to the events in your life and could actually sort of help you deal with the things that you're going through. So he's a huge favorite of mine. I love Dennis Lehane. I think he's a really great mix of sort of literary and commercial, which is pretty hard to do. I admire any author that's able to build a long, you know, term career in this business, because it's way harder than it looks. And to sort of have the ability to take risk and try new things, because you know, there's never any guarantees. So I admire anyone who's able to sort of pull that off. And there's a long list of authors that, you know, can do that. Dennis Lehane, Stephen King, you know, there's a lot of the brand name authors. But some of the other ones as well. I really admire that ability. So I just sort of watch how people handle their careers and how they keep it going, and hugely inspired by that.
And how many books do you own yourself?
Oh my God.
Well, or approximately.
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, I have in my home office, I have a wall of books, and they're like triple stacked.
That's pretty awesome.
I know. I need to do a giveaway soon, but I can't give them away. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I become so attached to my books, and I like to reread them. You know, I recently reread Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale. I read it the first time maybe 20 years ago, and I loved it. And right now I'm reading Shantaram by Gregory David Wallace, I think. Great. I read very widely. I read all over the place.
And do you have a lot of copies signed by authors, or?
I do.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I really cherish those too. I don't lend those ones out.
No.
Not even to my mom. I go buy her new version.
Chance of switching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just in Brazil, and I've been twice actually in the last 2 years for their book fair, and I think I had mentioned in a Brazilian newspaper because they wanted to know which Brazilian authors that I liked and read, and so I mentioned Paulo Coelho, and he lives in Switzerland, but he read the newspaper and sent me a signed copy of his newest book.
That's
and I was
cool.
like, I haven't even read it yet because it's like I don't want to spill green tea on it or anything. It's just like I think I have to go buy another copy for reading. You know,
Yeah.
that would be nice.
Most of us don't even like to break the back of the book.
Right? I
We
know.
really hate
A
that.
true book
Yeah,
lover.
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Read the book like this, eh?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do.
exactly.
Yeah, I know.
And then it's actually you go all panicky like, where?
Exactly. Yeah, it's a book lover.
Well, thanks everyone for all the questions.